All right. How about these? Do you like these?
I'm pretty sure Harry Potter's scar's in the wrong place. It's supposed to be like right there, not over here.
Yeah.
It's bad.
So you think they did it incorrectly?
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying you know a lot about Harry Potter? Do you think you know a lot about it?
Sure, but you're probably gonna prove me wrong.
No, I'm not going to prove you wrong. I'm just saying, if you know a lot about Harry Potter, you know what that means. You know what it means? You know what it means? It means you're a transphobe.
Wow. Okay.
The moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch, and I don't know about you guys, but ranch water is pretty solid of a drink. It's tequila, lime juice, Topo Chico. It's great, absolutely great. Anyway, let's get to this mail. It says, "Hey Perch, defender of the faith of Crumb, you goddamn right. What is the right way and wrong way to do superhero analogs, do you think? A reason I think Invincible is so well liked is despite the obvious analogs, the heroes are still distinct. Omni-Man has a civilian life that isn't just like Clark Kent, but I also feel like superhero analogs actually should do, to some extent, mirror their inspirations. You can't just take a blue suit and red cape and stick it on a used carsman sales type and personality in it. It only seems to work when at least the basics all match their inspirations. For instance, Homelander is evil, but at least projects the facade of Superman, so it works. And then also it says, will you make a live stream comeback anytime soon? Been a while since I heard you and Joe shoot the shit. Hope Joe is well, by the way. Yeah, Joe's fine. No, Joe's fine. His career's doing well. I think he's had a couple comic books come out. He's doing more and more. I think, quite frankly, Joe's gonna be too good for old Perch here any day now. He's gonna be doing bigger things and working with big companies, and you wouldn't want to be slumming around with Perch. So I don't know. No, Joe's doing fine. I'd love to get back to live streams, sort of. I did enjoy them. It's just I mean, I'm traveling about 75% of the time right now. And every now and then I get a mail. There's somebody who I desperately need to get back to in the comic space who is like, I know you've been keeping busy with all your videos. It looks that way. I gotta explain to all of you that, you see all these videos, these 2 a day, but the how these videos get made. Just to explain how the sausage gets made a little bit. I'm recording these videos while I'm on the road or traveling. In many cases lately, it's while I'm headed to the airport or while I'm in my rental car, running around Toronto or wherever I happen to be. And it is, I'm headed to the airport. That's 3 videos there, 3 videos back. That's 6 videos. Now that I've moved to 2 videos a day and soon 1, I'm basically going to, in a week, record close to a month worth of videos. So that's how it's happening. And then I go home, I have a pretty efficient batch process. I've got some help at home kind of doing some of that. And, very little time is actually going into the channel. And it shows. Yeah, thank you, Waldor. It's not as much time as you think. And I actually don't do that much. I wish I did more. There's a bunch of things I miss. I miss sales analysis videos. I do miss live streams. I am trying to get back to doing more interviews. I'm trying to live up to a promise I made to feature more indie creators. And that's why you're seeing more people who are doing kind of an indie thing. You're going to hear a lot of different voices. And yes, spoilers, you're going to hear people who are CG, anti-CG, don't care about any of those things. As long as we're there talking about the book, that's what the interview is going to be about. So you're going to hear a lot of voices that are just talking about their comic. And, I'm not going to ask them who they voted for. I'm not going to ask them, what they think about the culture war and woke and all the rest. I'm just going to ask them about the thing they're producing and how they did it. And so you're going to hear some of those voices too, all different types. I've actually had somebody come on, an indie creator, and they were on the kind of anti-CG side, and they're like, I want to promote my book, and I really want to speak out against, those guys. I'm like, I'll do number 1. We'll do number 1. And if you like, we can have a kind of free-flowing conversation. I'm going to edit out all the other stuff, and then I'll send it to you. And if you agree, we'll post it and everything else. The guy's like, no, I want to be free to say what I want to say. I'm like, no, you can be, but I don't want the culture war shit. I don't. So I'm that's not going to be part of the interview. And you're going to hear a lot of these indie creators. We're not going to get into that. Period. And that's kind of the rules of the game. I don't right wing, left wing, whatever it is. We're not going to do it. So, a person opted out. Said, well, that's too much. That's half of what I want to say. And I just in my head, I'm thinking, you're not going to sell a comic, because if that's half what you want to say, then, you're selling kind of this fight. You're not selling your work. And that seems sad to me, but it is what it is. So everybody has a right, of course, to make your own choices, and that's on you. So in terms of the rest of the question on the mail, analogs for heroes, I think it works, and I think it's a good, bounding off point or jumping off point for the character. But I think it takes a really skilled writer. Now Kirkman is a really skilled writer at the end of the day. So is Garth Ennis. You mentioned Homelander. Both those guys really know what they're doing, and both of them, maybe even Garth Ennis more than Kirkman, although both are kind of masters at their craft. They understand how to introduce a character that's supposed to make you feel like it's something familiar. That's kind of the entire bit. And if you do that correctly, it's a great way to, subvert expectations, if you will, without, tricking the audience or doing something truly subversive. You introduce a character to go, hey, Superman, so I'm going to leverage a lot of kind of that dynamic, the super strength, the responsibility, the pressure, kind of all that stuff that Superman's been wrestling with for decades. And I'm going to leverage that in order to tell my story. So you're coming in with a certain idea of what this character is like. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to take it a different direction, in a new and surprising direction. And I think as a storytelling technique, it's a good one. It can work really effectively for you. But you do have to be careful. I think I've seen plenty of other writers do it, and either, you got to kind of do the magic trick without people seeing that you're doing the magic trick. So in this instance, you want people to kind of be reminded or think about Superman and go, well, of course that's Superman. But then you don't want to, you don't want to live so much into it that it starts to become a parody of itself. An example of where maybe this is like gone a little further over the edge, and that is just my opinion. Many of you may feel differently, but the character The Deep in the Boys TV show. Now, the character The Deep in the in the comic, one of the funniest bits of that was, The Deep was kind of a big character. They didn't really do much with The Deep, not anywhere close to him. He's a big black guy, and at the very, very end of The Boys, I remember they're trying to, the government's trying to repackage the team, and I don't remember what they called it, but, basically all the costumes are like kind of white. They look like KKK costumes, but there's The Deep in there in his little costume, and one of the characters had an erection. That was Garth Ennis for sure. The Boys is maybe the most distilled Garth Ennis of any Garth Ennis. If it's not Welcome Home Frank or Welcome Back Frank. Anyway, the Punisher bit he did with Steve Dillon, which was amazing. But the Boys comic, similar. That's like just classic Ennis. Anyway, I think The Deep on the TV show is clearly an analog for Aquaman, and the character is a parody of himself. I mean, the character is, it's like, I wonder if Aquaman ever, fooled around with a fish. Is, what I remember that question coming up a bunch in the comic shop. I'm not sure why still. I mean, they never gave any indications that he was, stepping out with some porpoises. But anyway, that was always where people's heads go. And generally speaking, there's always two questions that, I always thought had a really obvious answer that would come up in a comic shop. Number one, did Aquaman, F the fish? And number two, did Mr. Fantastic, stretch his junk to please Sue? And the answer was, a very obvious no. There's no indication Aquaman was having sex with this fish. And number two, absolutely Reed Richards. Just, Sue stuck with Reed. No matter what kind of crazy, neglectful shit he would do, Sue always stood by her man. And I think we all know the reason why. You got Namor running around in a Speedo, like, I'll take you away, Sue Storm. But Sue Storm's like, no, I'm going to go for the Brady Professor here. I'm sticking with him. You're like, wow, very tempting, though. You got this guy, all tanned up, and he's like, come on, Sue, I'm a king of Atlantis, and look at my abs. Look at this. You got a full full set of cum gutters right here for you. That's pretty distasteful. Anyway, and Sue's like, no, sticking with Reed. Well, of course, it's his magical stretching truck. Anyway, so this video's gone a lot of different directions. Yes, I think when comics can stick with the analog, when they can give people the flavor, the feeling of kind of these, archetypes of characters, and then they could, move it to a surprising direction. It's good storytelling. If you do it well, it's great. Whether it's Omni-Man, whether it's Homelander, there's been many others, and both companies, by the way, if you're thinking about DC and Marvel as the big two, they've done it to each other. There's been plenty of kind of analogs amongst. I would argue, like I don't think Quicksilver and the Flash. That's what a lot of people come up with, but I don't think that one really plays. But there's been plenty of these that they've done over the years. And if you do it well, it's a very effective storytelling. It actually allows you to short circuit or shortcut several aspects of the stories by getting people's heads to a certain place almost on day one, and then moving them to where you want to move them. It allows kind of a deeper look into some of the characters' personalities. It could be quite good. So I mean, all good in how they do it. Anyway, what are your favorite analogs? What are your favorite indie characters that clearly were inspired by other characters, or big two characters, like you have Wonder Woman and kind of characters that were inspired by that, or you have, Nort and how that character inspired, Carol Danvers, like whatever it happens to be, what did you find that was the good analog to mainstream hero? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, of course, and thanks for listening.